Hey, today's theme is the top recommended for me movies from Prime that I haven't seen before. And the names of those three movies are Romy and Michele's High School Reunion, Labor Day, and Flesh+Blood. Episode is Romy and Michele's High School Reunion. This is a 1997 film starring Lisa Kudrow and Maria Sorvino. Yes. And the basic premise it is time for the 10-year high school reunion for these two women who really haven't done a whole lot with their lives, and they're stressing out about it. And it's just like a ridiculous, over-the-top comedy, but it's filled with lots of heart. I went into the movie thinking I wasn't going to like it. This does not look like my vibe. I think this is gonna be too ridiculous. It's gonna be too much. I'm gonna be really annoyed the entire time. I'm not gonna find it funny. But this movie is brilliant. I love it. They struck a perfect balance between ridiculousness and heart. So like, I loved it. And the movie's so freaking witty and smart. It works so well. Like, just as an example of like how I was able to care for these characters so quickly, I'll spoil the opening scene. So in the opening scene, the two characters are watching Pretty Woman, and immediately Lisa Kudrow's like, haha, this movie's so stupid. We watch it so much because how stupid it is. It's so fun to make fun of this movie. Ha 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 ha. But then flash forwards later in the movie where she can finally go back into the store and buy stuff and whatnot. A heartwarming moment in the movie. And Lisa Kudrow's character, Michele, she gets all emotional at it. And she's just like, I just love that she can do the thing now. And it's great. And I'm just like, damn right. You let your emotions out. Like, you're being emotionally honest, and that's great. And I love it. Like, you're just, it's good. It's so good. And there's so many moments like that in this movie where these characters just will let their emotions naturally out. Like, yeah, it's a ridiculous comedy, and normally they wouldn't have these types of just very casual, emotionally honest moments, but this movie lets them shine, and it's great. Yeah, no, it's a really good, really fun, silly, ridiculous movie that has a good, solid amount of heart. I loved it. I'm so blown away by how much I loved it, but like, I had a smile on my face the entire time, so like, it deserves the love. So definitely recommend. Next up is Labor Day. This is a 2013-2014 movie written and directed by Jason Reitman, who is legit one of my favorite directors. I've seen all but two of his films, and I have thoroughly enjoyed all of them. The big one, though, is Juno, which, you know, is one of my all-time favorite movies ever. So I have been, like, looking forward to watching this movie for a while, and I'm so glad if I get the chance to watch it. I did not know what the premise was going into it, but I will kind of vaguely say what it is for you now. So it stars Kate Winslet and Josh Brolin, and Kate Winslet plays this divorced mother with a teenaged son, and she's all sad and stuff because, you know, depression's a thing. And then one day Josh Brolin comes into their lives and makes things interesting. I won't say why or how. You're just gonna have to watch the movie to see. But it's great. I loved it. They did a really, really good job with like tension in the beginning. It really needed to be tense, and they nailed it. But then this movie's also like fundamentally just like a love story, like different kinds of love. And I'm a sucker for those in general. But I think they really, really nailed all of them. Especially like mother-son love. Like, I legit cried at one moment where, during the epilogue, I won't say what happens exactly, but like the son does something nice for the mother, and like just looking at Kate Winslet's face, like the subtle changes, and like it's so clear how much this simple, kind act meant to her. I was just like, damn it, Kate Winslet, that was beautiful. And I just start crying. And yeah, no, I loved it. And just like Kate gave a great performance all over. Like, she carried the hell out of this movie. I am dumbfounded she didn't win like a bajillion awards for this, because like she acted the hell out of this, and I'm just like, yeah, it's just an all-around really solid movie. I definitely, again, recommend this one. And lastly is Flesh+Blood. This is a 1985 movie starring Rutger Hauser and Jennifer Jason Leigh. The basic premise is in 1501 Western Europe, there's like some gypsy-like peasant people who help this king overthrow another king and take over his castle, and they're initially promised all of the loot from the castle, but then the king's like, haha, screw you guys, and then screws them over, and now these gypsy-like people want revenge on the king. So years later, they inadvertently kidnap the prince's fiancée, and then shenanigans ensue. And this movie is really interesting because first off, it's got a big ass budget. Like, this movie's pretty. They do some neat shots. Like in the opening scene, there's a bunch of people taking communion in the foreground, but in the background, there is a legit battle going on with like big ass explosions and fire and just like, it's insane. But then like, it also has zero likable characters. Like the leader of, I'm gonna say land pirates, you wanna like him and he does some good stuff, but then he does some really, really awful stuff at the same time. You do feel sympathy for him because he got screwed over, but then he does other awful things and you're just like, And then you got the fiance woman, and she is so wishy-washy. Like, I have no idea what was up with her. She had some really interesting moments, and really, like, strong character moments. But then she was also kind of just, I don't know, wishy-washy is the best word to describe her. And then you got, like, the prince, who I think you're supposed to be rooting for. But I hated him. He was just a little bitch that I'm just like, go, like, play with yourself, buddy. Leave the adults to go do things. Like, what are you doing? Get out of here. You're such a loser. And that's just the main cast. All of the supporting cast too, they're all muddy and gray and just like, you don't really like any of them. Or at least I didn't. But the story was pretty interesting and the action was good. And like I said, the budget was great. So like they had all the great special effects and there was a lot of nudity. So like it definitely kept my attention. And then I also thought it was interesting what all they did with Christianity, because the way they used it was almost in like a sword and sorcery type of way, which I thought was really neat. But it also felt very true to life of just like people kind of like doing things in the Lord's name that are very non-Christian, but then still claiming to be very devout Christian. And it's like, what you doing there, guys? So yeah, I wouldn't really recommend it unless like you're really into like the sword and sorcery genre, or you just want like a good medieval movie, because this is a good solid medieval movie. So like I wouldn't blanket recommend it, but like if you're into like the genre stuff, then yeah, I'd say go for it. It's not bad. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Romy and Michele's high school reunion, sitting number 13 in the really like section. And then after that is Labor Day, sitting number 34. Also in the really like section. And then bringing up the rear is Flesh+Blood, sitting at number 147 in the liked section. And this is out of a total of 198 old movies so far this year.